Well, I suppose it's a good thing and a bad thing we cleaned. I found quite the problem here. Today we're working on glow plugs and fuel return lines. So first thing is, got to clean up the area. We're gonna vacuum off the top of the engine. We're gonna blow off all the dirt and whatnot, and hopefully everything comes out, but we'll see. Stay tuned.
Yeah. Unknown brain.
So you can see how much dirt and debris is down there. That's it after I vacuumed it, but let's see. So I'm gonna take a screwdriver and kind of flick around in there, see if I can get any more debris up, but there's just so much diesel film on everything. I mean, you can see even my filter is pretty dirty here, so, or I should say my screen. So I really want this thing to be spick and span before I start opening up the motor, especially because I know these glow plugs can be a pain if they're bad brand. So I'm gonna do a real thorough cleaning. That's it after scraping up just for a few seconds. You can see how much crap is down in there, even though it looks clean. These old motors really hide a lot of crap, so I'm gonna get back to vacuuming.
Unknown brain. Marvin Divine. I'm saying bye to all the lies and all the times you cried, saying that I wasn't right, yet I was right by your side. You manipulator, playing games, your friends commentators, and I don't know what you say about our private conversations, but it's got them hating. Thanks to all the rumors you be claiming. It's cool, I'm done with you. Well,
I suppose it's a good thing and a bad thing we cleaned. I found quite the problem here. The valley pan that goes underneath the intake is completely rusted out in the back. A little right in here, you can see those are all holes that go directly into the intake, I believe, or the valley where all my lifters are and stuff. Not too familiar with exactly what it's going to look like under there, but if you've watched my channel, you've seen I've had this same problem with other vehicles. So this might be a full takeoff. I might have to take all this crap off, which sucks, but whatever. First things first, I took off all the glow plug harness. It ties into all your sensors, your heat sensors, your oil sensors, your fuel shutoffs, all that good stuff. So all that is out of here. I still have my tach wire on this side and my tach sensor right here. Next thing we're gonna do is we should probably pull the throttle lines off, and then we'll start taking off all the fuel lines. I got my rubbers marked, back driver side, front driver side, back passenger side, front passenger side. It's another day. It's very hot out, and I chose today to rip the top of this motor apart. So we have all the injector lines off. We have the injector pump off. There's a ton of videos online showing you how to do that, so I'm not going to get too in-depth. Plus, since I'm ripping everything off, it's not really going to be practical to anyone unless they're doing a valley pan gasket like me. So my only tip, I suppose, would be on top of your gear housing here. There's a timing mark right here. Just remake a mark just to ensure that your pump is lined up. Those holes are slotted, that pump can turn. So that's where we're at. So right now I got a 6.38 socket on here, and I'm gonna get after these glow plugs now that they're nice and easy. So a quick inspection of our glow plug shows some swelling, some melting, look at that, some holes being blown out. It looks to me that they're just a mix match. They haven't been all replaced. And if you can't tell, there's only 7 here. It's because I have one stuck. I bet you won't guess which one's stuck. The very back one on the driver's side. So I suppose that means we're about to have even more fun. I'm gonna get a vice grip and a pry bar, and I'm just gonna wiggle and pull. That's how we used to pull 24-inch drift pins out of piles on the railroad. So just grab it with a vice grip, just keep wiggling it back and forth, and you put a flat bar under it, pry it up. We'll see how it works. So I'm pretty thankful that wasn't bad. The glow plug is completely messed up. You can just see how wonky it is. I don't know why they put the worst ones in the back. I'd probably do the same, but you can see these glow plugs are just used and abused. Glow plugs are all in. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So crisis averted. Now I can start pulling these O-rings off these fuel returns, and hopefully I find some that are bad, because I'm guessing that this was the problem with the truck not running right. As you can see, they're pretty dirty, but no tall tale signs yet, so I'll get these all pulled off. Okay, I got it cracked loose. Let's see how dirty this old girl is. Oh. No, 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 no. No, this is bad. God dang it. All right, so there's the cut. Not terrible. But let's look right here, huh? Let's see. See all that? That's my hair and flesh. Oh yeah. Well, I was told don't ruin this piece because they don't make it anymore. It's impossible to find them, so I'll definitely take a hit from an injector to get that out. So let's see what we have. Okay, so some antifreeze. Let's see what we got under here. Not terrible. Definitely not savable though. All right, I'll climb up in there. So the main thing I'm looking for here is rust, and I don't see any. So that means that water's not getting in here in any significant way. I have no idea why, but that plug is filling up. It's another day. It's hot as heck out here for me. It's probably close to 100 degrees. Dew point is 78, so super humid. Working on the truck again. I have my O-rings on my injectors, so I'm ready to slide on my fuel returns. All looking nice and good. I had them sit overnight in some ATF. Probably didn't need to have them that long in there, but I figured I'd do it since I was leaving for the day. So I just carefully put it over the threads, put the first one on, and then once the first one's on, I go over the first one onto the second one. Sometimes it's good to put some blue tape on this, and then also put a little bit of grease on that. Back in my rebuild days, that's how I would do it. If I had a really critical seal or a really hard seal, that's what I would do. But ready for my little caps. Did I mention it's hot and somehow I'm dirty? This is freaking bull crap. So got a lot of work done. I'll show you what I got. I have almost all the return lines done. I just put a lot of ATF on that and they pop right on there. Got the hoses made up that connect them all. They're all the same size so far, except for this one here. That's my feed line. Now what I hear a lot of people say is you need this feed line because it helps reduce strain on your pump. That's a bunch of bull crap. This pressure comes out of here, so it's actually flushing the air. It's picking up the air past all of your caps. And since this one only has an end fitting, it's designed to let all the extra fuel from your pickup pump, or from your fuel pump I should say, to go all the way back to the tank. Put a hat on so I don't look like such a train wreck. So next, what I want to do is, this is the inline on my fuel filter. So that goes down to the pump. Now the feed line of the pump runs directly off the tank. There's no helper pump or anything like that. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to install my own hand pump. It's just a little boat pump, 3/8 barb fitting. So technically it could be an inline, but I'm going to run a line up to the top where I would be jump starting it if I was in the engine bay, and then back down to the pump. This is going to allow me to prime the system without cranking it over. Got it on. I actually really like the way this went in. Look at that, it's already just like that. It's already pushing. This is probably going to be one of the best mods I do to this whole thing. Figured I'd get one more thing done today, so I sandblasted the air intake, cleaned up the PCV valve, or whatever this is called, CDR valve. I'm pretty wet, I'm pretty tired, I'm pretty dirty, so I'm gonna call it a day, and I'll be back tomorrow. So we're about a week into this project. We got our pan, so we can start working on this old thing, whatever the hell it is. So I already got the inside all cleaned up. I'll show you that here. So I got the pan on here just to protect dust and dirt from coming off with the hood, but I already cleaned behind you here really good, all the mating surfaces. So I just need to put a film of gasket maker down on the front and the back, and that just seals the pressure from escaping, and then we're ready to get this intake on here. Got the gasket maker all on there, just letting it get tacky. I like to really build up my corners here. Typically with a gasser motor, you would put like a 1/4 inch bead of RVT, something like that, but this pan seals perfectly flat across that layer, and in the back, the manifold, the intake manifold, does seal back there, but on the front you actually use this strip. So it's a little bit different than a gasser, but still the same idea. So I'm probably going to do it off camera, but I'm going to set my pan in there and then tighten this bolt up. I'm going to put my drain plug in the back, and that'll hold the pan in, and from there I can show you the next steps. Real quick, I'm paranoid, so I dumped about 1/2 quart of oil on my rollers. They're not your normal lifters, you know, they're not flat tappet lifters, so you probably can avoid this step, but I've cooked out a lifter before, so I just want to be very thorough here. I did a lot of cleaning in this area, mostly vacuuming and wiping, but I want to make sure I'm not starving this of oil. So it's all oiled up, now it's ready for the pan. Okay, pan is on. I got the front plate on, I got the rear plug in, and those are tight. So now what I'm going to do is silicone that breather tube in and drop the air intake on. Got the intake on, the bolts are not all tight, so procedure is, let's say, this might not be exact, but like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then on the next one you just go from back there all the way forward. So 2 sets of 24 foot-pounds, and start in the middle, work your way outward, then start at the far end, work your way frontward. So I'll get that done now. Okay, maybe it's lack of experience, maybe it's just weird parts, but see how thick this gasket is? That's pretty typical as far as what I see for thickness on intake gaskets. Let me show you what this other old gasket looks like. I believe this is a Motocraft gasket. There's no reason for me to think otherwise, but it is like an 1/8 inch thick. I mean, that is a thick, chunky boy. And what I was finding was the bolts didn't want to completely tighten up. Once I tightened them up to the 24 foot-pounds, the washer would still spin at the top. And I sent my endoscope down, I sent a probe down, I blew out the holes, just about everything I could do short of retapping the holes. And you know, I don't like doing things half-ass. I want to know why it's broken. So I ended up putting a double washer on a few bolts that I think are low, but I think for the most part it's fine, but there were definitely a couple that tightened up before they were actually tight against the intake gas or intake manifold. So it'd probably be best to take all of your bolts and size them down a little bit, or just be prepared to stack 2 thick washers on. So got 2 thick washers on that one and that one over there. I am not putting my hooks back on for lifting the motor out because the turbo and all that is going to block that one, and I just don't need just one. So if I take one off, I might as well take them both off. So we're going to call this torqued for now. I might end up doing a little bit more work to it. I might end up swapping all these bolts. I have easy access to these even with the pump and the lines on, but keep that in mind. These new gaskets, they're not as thick, so whether that means they're not as good or not, I can't say for sure, but thickness is important. So I suppose next up is the injection pump. All right, so we got the injector pump on, we got the injector lines on, intake's all on, return lines are all on. I even plumbed in the other return lines in the video. So what I still need to do is I still need to put the glow plug harness in. I need to wire the glow plug harness in because I want to make a manual button push. So I need to do that. I need to get the antifreeze hose back on. I need to get it filled up with coolant. Need to put the air filter back on. I need to put the throttle cable back on, and then we should be good. But this is moving along good. Probably only have a little bit longer out here today, but I want to get this buttoned up today. I want the video to end on it being buttoned up, so I'm going to hit it hard and try to finish this thing up. Well, I got it pretty much back together. I thought it'd be good for a good turnover. However, well, that's a new development, but it was smoking, so clearly this thing needs a full electronics upgrade. This is just hokey bull crap, so there's no sense in trying to get this thing to run with it acting like this. So I'm gonna go to the parts store, get a bunch of these solder on battery posts, and redo all the big cable electronics. So the truck is back together, it turns over. I got a little bit of air coming out of my fuel, but that's all I got for you today. Whole valley pan is put in, injector pump is put back in, everything is back in. So we're back at zero. We've actually done nothing so far except look at things. So I guess that's it. Next video it will be running, or it'll be totaled out and we'll be scrapping it, one of the two. But appreciate you watching. Stay tuned for more. Making new videos every Wednesday. Thanks.